Hey everybody, it's Kim. I wanted to do that video for you where I'm planting potatoes on a porch or a balcony. Well, this is the corner of my front porch. I think I'm going to have to do this a little bit different today because the wind is wicked strong today. I'm sorry if the audio is not that great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set things up in a little bit so that you're not getting bounced around, because no matter what I do, my camera's getting blown in the wind here and it's really jiggly. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to find something to protect the surface that you're going to be setting your pots or your planters on. All right, you guys, before we get started, I need to talk about the soil that you're going to put into your containers. That's going to make or break whether you're going to be successful or more successful in this case. One thing that you want to avoid is what they call topsoil. Topsoil is basically they scraped off somebody's yard, they threw it into bags, maybe they screened it a little bit, but there's really nothing good about what's there. Now, the topsoil here is $1.79 a bag. It's pretty cheap. I mean, you can get away cheap, but you're not going to be successful with it. What I recommend strongly is using potting soil. Something like this. Potting soil has been amended, so there's a little peat in there. There's maybe some nutrients added to it. It's got a lighter mix to it so that it's not going to get waterlogged and your roots are going to be able to spread out. For 50 cents more, you're going to get much better results with your plants. Okay? If worse comes to worse and you cannot get either of those, you're going to want to go with something like composted manure. It's the same price here as the potting soil, and it's going to give all the nutrients you want to your plants. You have to be a little bit careful because it may be a little bit on the heavier side. If you want to save money, look for things like broken bags. Generally, they sell them much less, sometimes $1 a bag, 50 cents a bag. It depends on where you go. As you can see, there's several. This is compost. The topsoil, which I would not use, has broken bags, but your potting soil, as you can see, there's several broken bags here. They're going to sell them to you at a much better price. So when looking for something to put in your container, remember, do not use topsoil or garden soil. You're looking for potting soil, or worst case scenario, you're looking for your composted manure. But before you do anything, I want you, if you live in the city or somewhere where they pick up your garden waste, your lawn clippings, your leaves and things like that, call your county, call your city, call whoever picks them up and ask them if they compost them, because they usually give it back to you free just for living there. All you have to do is go pick it up. So if you're really on a budget and you want to save a few dollars, excuse me, call your area and find out if they give you this stuff for free. Okay, I want to show you a couple of containers that you might want to consider. First of all, we have the plastic flower pots, which I really do not recommend because they have a problem where your plants, they're just hard. A lot of them do not have proper drainage. They're going to make the roots start to circle around, and they grow out the bottom. Your plant doesn't look good. It starts to strangle it, and you're just not going to be as happy with this as you could. What I want you to consider is something like this. This is a fabric pot. They come in many different sizes, many different brands, and what this does, it allows your roots to air prune. What that means is the plants grow to the sides. When they hit that side, they go through, and the little roots will die when they come out that other side. That's not a bad thing. What happens is your roots will start to spread out, and you'll get more roots. Those hit the side. They die. You get more little roots. They continue to grow, and your plant gets healthier and healthier, and it does not circle around in that pot. Okay? When I was at work, I found this here, and I really like this. It has a grow bag on the bottom which, you know, it's the kind of the best of both worlds. And then it has a really pretty container up on top. It's made out of metal and it looks like wood, so it'll last a long time. This one happens to measure, it's 12 inches high, almost 4 feet wide, and about 2 feet deep. And you get plenty of room to grow in here. You could plant, you know, additional things besides your potatoes. You can grow a small garden in here. So this is something, if I had the money, I would definitely get. Okay, you guys, the wind got wicked crazy, so I'm going to try to do a voiceover and see how that works today. So anyway, I put that plastic down because I want to protect my porch. If you don't do this, by the end of summer, you could have some really wicked stains down. So please, please make sure no matter how you plant, if you don't have something to protect your patio or your balcony or your porch, you need to make sure you cover it up. What you're going to want to do with the potting soil that I picked up, this was a broken bag, by the way. They put some clear tape over it and it looks like brand new. You never know, I only paid $1 for it. You have to take the bag and you need to rough it up a bit. You need to move it around because the soil has gotten clumped together. There's lots of, if you feel in there, there's lots of hard pieces in there. And it's just not going to be easy for the potatoes to grow. So go ahead and wiggle it around and then find a way that you want to lay it so it looks nice. I'm going to do something later to cover this up, but you could stand it up and it would work really well. It would actually work pretty good for potatoes, better than in this position. Now find some type of a cutting implement and go ahead and poke a bunch of drainage holes because you don't want it soaking in water if it rains. This is why you wanted to cover your porch. Now cut a great big X in the middle. And go ahead and fold those flaps in because it, you know, looks a little bit better. Not really necessary, but it does. And then find your seed potato. This one's one of the Kennebec, and it's a small one. I didn't have to do anything with it. But my other video shows how to get them prepared for planting. Dig down to the bottom of the bag. You need potatoes as deep as you can get them. And then cover it up. And pretty much this is all you have to do. Now, it's not the best method for potatoes. If the potato starts to sprout, poke holes and you can direct the green parts, the shoots that come up, you can direct them under the bag and out different areas, the corners. You could poke holes and direct them out. And the potatoes will grow all along those green shoots as they grow, and they'll be covered from the sunlight in the bag, and it'll end up filling up the entire bag. Now, really, it's not the best way. This is not my preferred method. It would be really good. You could cut open the bag more. You could pretty much take the top off, and you could plant herbs, or lettuce would be perfect in here. You can get all different color lettuces and plant them in these types of bags. And then later I'll come back and I'll show you how to make it kind of pretty. And you know, can grow flowers and herbs and whatnot that way. All right. I love planting in cardboard boxes because they are biodegradable, they're compostable, they are recyclable, and for 2 or 3 months, most of the summer, they're going to last just fine. So the first thing I need to do here is to push the flaps in. This helps to make your box stronger. If you don't have flaps, don't worry about it. But if they're there, just push them in. Then you're going to go ahead and find some soil to cover the bottom. And I'm going to use some of my my own compost that I, get from my pile in the back. And you're going to add a couple of inches in the bottom. And I'm sorry here, but I was struggling a little bit because it was kind of heavy. You can see it's got a lot of organic matter in there and things like that. And unfortunately, there's a few rocks. I probably should have screened it. You have to be careful. You don't want a lot of rocks in your soil because I've actually had a potato grow a rock inside of it. So once you put your soil down, you're going to want to go back and spread it out, pick through, and find any rocks that you might have in there and get rid of them. The nice thing about this box is it's a lot deeper than that other one, and I showed you that the plants are going to grow up. So you take your potatoes, and because this box is so big, you should be able to fit about 3 of your prepared starts in there. And then you're going to come back and you are going to top this off with a little bit more compost, or if you have that garden soil. See, I'm showing you it's not that deep. It only needs to be a couple inches deep here. And then you go ahead and put your additional soil on top. You have to be careful when you're putting your compost or your soil in there that you don't break off any of those shoots, because that's where your little potatoes are going to grow on them, and you work kind of hard to get those little eyes to start. So gently cover up. I would fill it up at least that deep. That bag that I bought would probably fill it to that point. And if you could only find one broken bag, you can always go back later. Once the shoots have grown through that surface, you can go ahead and fill the rest of the box with soil. So don't think you have to go out and buy a bunch all at one time. If you can only afford one bag a week, you could come back and fill this up. Okay, basically when you plant into your other containers, such as this plastic pot or those grow bags, you do this exact same thing. You put down a couple inches of soil, you put your potato, and then you fill it with compost. Put a couple of inches. If you really, really want to, on something like this bucket here, you can fill it to the top. The plant will eventually find its way to the surface, and little potatoes will grow all along the green shoots as they come up through the soil, and it will kind of fill up this little pot, and you will have your potatoes. Once I have it all planted, I want to make it look pretty because it's going to be sitting here all summer. So I went around my yard and I found those sticks to make a barrier, because the next thing I'm going to do is add some broken bags of mulch to really jazz it up a bit. All right, guys, the wind died down a little bit so I can actually do this outside. What do you think? I think it turned out really cute. I spread that mulch around. Actually, I used a half a bag, so it really cost me $1.50 to plant this. Honestly, I think I would like, because I think I'm going to leave this here. I think it turned out really cute. I found that duck decoy on the beach one day, by the way. Isn't that funny? And I'm going to switch out that box probably for a grow bag. I just have to pick one up one day, or make one, because I do know how to sew. Let me recap really quick, though. When you're planting potatoes, it's preferable to have a container that's taller rather than wide. That bag, it will work if you train the potatoes to go underneath, but the box would be your better bet. A grow bag, if you have to, you can use the plastic pots. They will work. You're just going to have to water them a lot more in the summer. And go ahead and try it. You can make it look really cute. Doesn't cost a lot of money. I found all of those sticks and that piece of tree I had found one day it fell in the backyard. The tree fell down, and I thought it was really cool the way it was hollow, and I always wanted to plant in it. So there you go. I think it looks kind of cute. Let me know what you think, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful night.